Not really, no.
Come on. What did we say? Positive vibes only. Look, sit yourself down. We're having second-hand pie.
Hey, it's not second-hand, it's leftovers.
Much more appealing.
You can't just barge in.
Hey, you. I ruined my shoes on the way to a meeting earlier on because of you. Leaving dog dirt all over the pavement like flaming landmines.
Well, I hope you're not treading dog dirt in on the floor.
It's your dog dirt!
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
Hello and welcome to episode 398 of The Talk of the Street, another official Coronation Street catch-up podcast that was promised a steaming pile of dog dirt, and damn it, deserves a steaming pile of dog dirt. I'm Gavin.
And I can't believe we've already had our first tornado of the year.
What?
Did you hear about this?
No.
Yes.
It's March.
I know.
And it's Michigan.
Yes. We have tornadoes in Michigan.
I remember when we moved here, I was told they're usually a good bit further south than here.
Yeah, it was southwest of us. But
okay.
still, you know, there's video footage of a tornado in March taking off the roof of a mire. So if that doesn't scream Michigan, I don't know what does.
Good old Maya.
But I mean, it's the beginning of March and we've already had like our first thunderstorm of the year.
Yeah, there's supposed to be one tonight.
Yeah. Earlier today, I'm just like sitting doing my work, and Benny had just brought the groceries in, and like the second he brought the last bag in, all of a sudden just torrential rain.
Oh, really?
No, like, you know how rain is supposed to kind of start light and then get more torrential as it goes on?
Traditionally.
None of that. It's just boom, torrential. No, no warning whatsoever.
This is fine. This is all fine.
It's all fine.
Nothing to worry about.
Yeah. In fact, we have less to worry about than everybody else in the United States because we are surrounded by fresh water. So
Fresh at the moment, water.
So Michigan, in terms of climate change, and probably in terms of like nuclear war as well, because who's going to bomb Michigan? But in terms of...
Some people would argue that people already have. Not me. I wouldn't say that.
In terms of climate change, we're probably in the best location in America that there could possibly be, surrounded by the Great Lakes, which is a cheery thought, isn't it?
Well, I was looking at the weather across different parts of the country this week, because this is something that I think about quite a bit. It's like, where do you live where you don't have some kind of natural weather phenomenon that could seriously fuck up your day or your life? And there aren't many places in the country where you could avoid that. And the one that I saw this week on the weather alert for Hungry Horse, Montana was avalanche alerts. And I'm like, fuck off. Avalanches. I'm the spy who loved me. Fuck off.
You've been to the Rocky Mountains. You know how high they are.
Sure, but you don't expect avalanches. Well, I don't expect avalanches, even though the hockey team is called the Colorado Avalanches. But
the hockey team in Montana is called the Colorado Avalanche.
No, the one in Colorado, but it's still the Rockies.
That's true.
Yes, so you can get to fuck as well.
Well, I mean, it's like they had 3 feet of snow on the northwest or northeast.
This is what I'm talking about.
And, you know, let's not forget, a couple of years ago, our friends in the mountains of North Carolina who thought, surely we are safe from anything having to do with the ocean, were devastated by a hurricane.
And then I think about Scotland. For you don't get tornadoes. You get the occasional thunderstorm. Seldom any avalanches to speak of.
Well, no.
Maybe in the Cairngorms, etc.
Right, yeah, which nobody notices because nobody's there.
But all you get is, we'll get letters, Helen. We'll get letters about that.
That's
But all
why
you
I
get-
like them so much.
But all you get is it's rained for the entire summer. So,
Which I don't
Take your pick.
believe because,
oh, it happens.
granted, I haven't been there often, but the times that I've been in the United Kingdom and Ireland where people are like, oh, it's always cloudy and gloomy, it's been sunny and beautiful.
Yeah, you've been lucky.
And I don't know if it's just me.
Yeah, that is. I'm glad
I
we,
just
I'm glad we
bring the
solved
sun
that.
with me.
We solved that conundrum. Shall we preamble, my dear?
Yes, please.
Give us some of that meteorological Corrie news.
Tony Maudsley and Jodie Prenger have signed new contracts for another year as everyone's favorite singing siblings. So,
Huzzah.
huzzah. It's so funny. There was like an article earlier today about Jodie exiting the show, and I had a heart attack thinking that they were talking about Jodie Prenger, but no, they were talking about the character Jodie.
Oh, she's
So-
exiting?
Well, the theoretical,
Oh, gotcha.
you know, flash forward garbage.
Right.
Yes. No Corrie today on Friday the 6th due to, you guessed it, sport.
Sports ball. Was it the...
It's a Six Nations thing that I always think, which confuses me because it makes me think of Native Americans
That's,
and indigenous peoples.
that's the rugby.
Yes. Which has nothing to do with Native Americans.
Rugby, which is the sport that's for people who can't play football.
Oh, we are
will
going to get letters.
We will get letters.
We will get letters.
I'm only joking.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. Actually, I just kind of dislike most sport.
Even football.
Can't get into it these days. I really can't.
I mean, I can kind of understand that. I do still watch the baseball, but intermittently when I have nothing else to watch, more or less, or when I want to have something on that I can watch but also do other things like fold laundry. And like I used to watch NASCAR all the time, and I don't watch NASCAR anymore.
Thank God.
And like I was talking to Nick about the Olympics because like he's like always really been into the Olympics. He's like, not really, just the summer ones. And I was like, yeah, you know, I used to love watching the figure skating competitions in the Winter Games. I didn't watch any of it. I didn't watch a single one.
I was only vaguely aware that it was happening.
In Italy.
Yeah. I saw something with Americans falling out of a bobsled, and that's pretty much all I've seen. It was enough.
And finally,
Oh, yeah, Corrie news.
Anthony Cotton and partner Peter Eccleston have donated their property in Scarborough to the charity Give Us Time, which works to provide vacations for military families in the UK. So well done to them. That's a very lovely thing to do. And that's Corrie News.
That's Corrie news, which leads us ever so seamlessly into the feedback section that I insist on calling Everyone's a Critic. Tina writes, my favourite running joke on the podcast has to be Gavin saying, I'm fine, by the way. It's made even better when, on weeks like this week, Helen doesn't even acknowledge it. It cracks me up every time. I'm sorry, Gavin.
Me too.
No, that's fine, Tina.
It cracks me up as well.
Trish responded, I always appreciate the nipped off for a shite. Well, we'll get a few of them this week.
Yes.
JM Jara 777 says, poor Debbie, she's a victim of weird sound and visual effects syndrome. She is indeed. There's the occasional Dutch angle as well, I'm sure.
Yes.
And strange focus pulls.
Yeah.
As they pull out all the big stops.
I just tried
The
to-
after effects come out for Debbie.
I try to ignore them as much as possible.
Yeah. Loriana says, saw something that was a bit funny and even more peculiar on episode 43, March the 4th. For some reason, some effort was put into making David look taller than Shona in one scene. At 11:36, Shona and David are standing together arguing, and we can see that they are a similar height. Carry on to 21:10. David and Shona are locked in a blissful embrace, and he looks several inches taller than her. What was the point of that? It looked as though Shona was holding a toddler. Anyway, wasn't sure where to post this, and I was too lazy to go back to the pod for instructions. Keep up the good work. Your podcast is my Saturday treat.
Aw.
Cheers from Duluth. Duluth's nice. We've been to Duluth, haven't we?
We have. You went to dinner wearing a woman's shirt.
Well, to be fair, I didn't realise it was a women's shirt until I put it on. And actually, I didn't realise it was a women's shirt until I
Until
put
you
it
saw
on.
your
and went in.
reflection in the window of the door. I thought you looked lovely. But, I didn't turn down being gifted that shirt. I don't know where that shirt is. Was it going to the Sun Road, Montana?
Why did I not wear that in Montana? Why did I wait until Minnesota to wear that?
I don't know. You had a lot of other stuff to wear. It was a long trip.
It was a long trip.
Duluth is nice. And
It
then
had a very plunging neckline that I didn't notice until it was far too late.
I found it quite sexy.
I carried it off.
You did.
Actually, I noticed that with David and Shona as well, that they're varying heights depending on what scene they were in. It was like he was standing on a step or something. She was standing on a step.
Yeah. Especially when they're sitting down next to each other. That's when you really notice
That he's shorter.
This is why I say Jack P. Shepherd should be the next Wolverine.
I still don't understand that.
No,
Then
it's
Noel
fine.
writes, the name of Sahara and Bethany's detective agency should be Two Blonde Dicks. Tagline, but not like that. My work here's...
I love that. Especially since we're not going to get the Asha and Amy and a dog in a van detective agency.
My work here's through, but anywhere that there's a classic TV theme that needs revisiting to fit in with modern society, or a bit of a classic dialogue to be twisted into a shape that can wend its way down the cobbles, I'll be there. Thanks for the one podcast that brings me the most joy. Well, thank you very much, Noel. We've got so many compliments already this week.
Yes.
Then Cheeky writes a very long email, so I've just picked some of the most salient points from it.
Okay.
Apologies. The week began on a somber note with the news that Jim McDonald had died in hospital. So he did. Even though we haven't physically seen him since 2018, the impact of that character still lingers strong
Was
enough
it that long ago?
that the news landed with real weight. Having Steve learn about it in that blunt, almost clinical way was sobering, and the knowledge that Cassie had been preparing to propose to him only deepened the tragedy. It was one of those rare moments where the show's long history quietly reasserts itself and reminds you how many lives and relationships have passed through that street. Thankfully, there was at least one development that felt genuinely hopeful, the revelation that Rob Donovan's child from prison has now ended up under the care of Carla Connor, and it was surprisingly touching. Watching Carla and Lisa suddenly find themselves navigating the sleepless, chaotic world of early parenthood together is oddly charming, even if Connie is technically Carla's niece. Seeing Carla slowly realise that she may not be entirely hopeless at nurturing another human being was refreshing. Yes, it was. Thank you very much. Thank you to Cheeky, to Noel, to Loriana, to GMJara777, to Trish and to Tina for getting in touch this week. We very much appreciate it. Feedback's always welcome. Send us your thoughts and I'll probably read them out. Get us at thetalkofthestreet@gmail.com, or our DMs are open at Corrie Podcast. So we love it when people write actual letters to us. Send us your proper mail to the Talk of the Street, PO Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan 48827. Please note that we reserve the right to edit feedback, sorry Cheeky, but only in the interests of brevity. And now we'll podcast for coffee.
Yes! Yes! Woo!
Friend of the podcast.
Thank you, Matt Birch, for becoming our 50th
Woohoo!
friend of the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Matt joined on Patreon and didn't leave a message,
Oh, no.
which is a wee shame. So if you have anything any opening remarks that you'd like to make, Matt, just let us know. We'll read them out next week.
Of course. What?
Friend of the podcast.
I love you people.
And welcome aboard to Library Jen.
A library person? I'm
says-
delighted.
Thank you to you guys.
Oh,
You're so welcome. Thank you, Library Jen.
yes, thank you,
Did I
library.
say
Jen.
thank you to Matt Birch?
I think so. Well, we can say it again. Thank you, Matt Birch.
Thank you to Matt Birch and thank you to...
I love your beer.
to Birch?
Birch beer.
Was that a thing?
You never had birch beer before?
I think of a tree.
Yes. Yes, it's kind of like root beer in
I'm
that
normally thinking about trees.
it comes from the tree. Oh my God.
Friend of the podcast.
Thank you to Jack the Mariner.
We get a librarian and a mariner this week, and a tree.
So Matt Birch was our 50th, Library Jen our 51st, and Jack the Mariner our 52nd friend of the podcast.
I
Welcome
am
aboard,
so
Jack
delighted.
the Mariner. You're very welcome.
Yes,
Jack
we like
writes-
mariners here.
Hi, Gavin and Helen. I love your show and finally took the leap in becoming one of your friends. I've watched Coronation Street since I was a toddler and closely associate it with my lovely Nana. How many people associate Corrie with her grandmother?
I associate my grandmother with racism.
Well, thankfully, Jack the Mariner doesn't do that. Who I watched it regularly with until she died at the age of 96 in 2018. Your show is one of the highlights of my week, and I often listen to your dulcet tones while in the gym or driving to and from work here in Grimsby on the Lincolnshire coast in England.
Grimsby.
Keep up the good work from Jack the Mariner.
There's a horrible movie based in Grimsby.
Called Grimsby.
Yes.
I don't know if it's based in Grimsby.
I believe it is.
What,
But,
the Grimsby brothers and the Loving Grimsby?
I mean, it's Sacha Baron Cohen.
I have no idea.
I've seen it. It's terrible.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh well.
Oh my God! Are we going to get to 60?
Friend of the podcast.
Holy shit.
Welcome aboard David MacArthur, who is now our 53rd friend of the podcast.
Yes, 53rd.
Thank you, David.
Thank you so much.
David writes, I've really been enjoying listening to the podcast as much for the humour as for Coronation Street. I also enjoy the occasional Karen Shore and R references because I went to school in Karen Shore and use/teach R. I'm looking forward to catching up on the bonus content.
Woohoo! Oh, so
David went to school in Karen Shore.
do you know him?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I don't.
It's kind of impossible for you not to know somebody who grew up in Karen Shore.
Well, now they didn't say they grew up in Karen Shore.
He went to
David grew up in Stennismuir, I've since learned.
But he went to school in Karen Shore?
His mum was anyway, this is too much information.
Still, he's probably walked by your mum's house before.
I would say a high probability that that's happened.
Yes.
And I've probably walked by his.
Yes.
Well, not creepily.
No.
And certainly not recently.
No.
We're done.
No more?
That's it.
No more? That was a embarrassment of riches.
It really was.
I am so delighted.
It's so lovely. You know, we had this arbitrary target. Really, wasn't really a joke, but we just thought, let's see if this can happen. And if it does, great. And if it doesn't, it doesn't matter. But
We have a kid going to college next year, so it's not a joke.
And all this joking aside certainly helps.
Yeah.
So
seriously, I mean, it's gotten so bad, I've contemplated trying mushroom coffee.
Oh, good God. So thank you once again to Matt Birch, to Library Jen, to Jack the Mariner, and to David MacArthur for becoming our new friends of the podcast. We're so grateful.
Yeah.
I really hope that the bonus content is sufficient thanks for your support. It is very much appreciated.
You get to hear me make robot noises now.
And I've hit that new friend of the podcast button so many times over the last 2 months. Mm-hmm. Kind of incredible.
I think we'll get even more now that I've let everybody know that I make robot noises.
Well, don't scare them off. The Talk of the Street is and will always be free on your podcast provider and on the YouTubes, but if you think a show is worth anything more than the time it takes to listen to it, and if you want to show your appreciation or if you want more weekly and monthly content, head over to corriepodcast.com, click on Support the Pod, then Friend of the Podcast, and for $2 a month, you can get access to our weekly spoiler show, The Talk of the Street Spoiler Alert, and our monthly classic Corrie show, The Talk of the Street Classics. This month we're talking about episode 4339 from January the 20-something, 1998. That's one with Emily Uppertree.
Yes.
And if that wasn't enough, you also get access to our Discord server, a shout out at the end of every podcast, your name in the credits of the flagship show, and we will act out your one-act play. If you prefer something a little less formal, you can also buy us next week's coffee by clicking Buy Us a Coffee. And remember, you can always support the podcast for free, get us in front of new listeners by liking, subscribing, rating and reviewing wherever you get your podcasts. A shortened week to talk about this week.
Yes.
My dear, shall we...
We will not have that problem next week.
Oh, shall we dive in?
Yes, please.
Our first storyline this week is Swarla Baby. Sitting on the tree for me. I've been an awfully bad boy.
girl.
Anyway. On Monday, Swain is getting ready to get back to work when there's a knock at the door at number 6. And when Carla goes to answer it, she finds that a stork has left a baby. A human baby.
A human baby.
Swain sees a woman unloading a car with baby supplies, and she comes back to the house later to explain that this is the fruit of the loins of Rob Donovan and Mandy the prison guard.
This is Bobby's little baby sister.
It's a shame that Bobby's
Not here.
not there to see it.
Yes.
Or, from anything that we've gathered this week, been told about it.
Hey, we get a mention of Max this week, so I
couple of mentions of Max.
I think beggars can't be choosers.
The one thing about this baby is that it's far too cute to have either of their DNA. This baby
This baby.
is called Connie, and the woman at the car was Connie's nan, who looks after the baby usually, but is going into hospital for a few days.
Right, because both of Connie's parents are in prison.
Yes. So she's looking for Carla and Swain to look after the baby because she's going to go into hospital for a few days where she definitely won't unexpectedly die.
Right, yes. And sorry, I didn't call you first and just showed up.
But I seem to know
And
where you live.
Knocked on your door and then walked back to the car to get the other supplies before you answered the door.
Yeah.
That's weird, isn't it?
Just a little.
That's weird.
I will
Knock, knock, knock.
put
All
the
right.
baby put the baby
Put
down.
the baby down. Knock on the
Leave
door.
the baby.
Walk away from the baby before anybody answers the door.
You could be at the wrong house.
You could. You could be at, like, Hannibal Lecter's house. That's not someone you want to leave with a baby.
Now imagine if you'd put down that baby and a bottle of Chianti. So Carla's nan, there's question marks over her faculties already.
Correct.
But she's looking for Auntie Carla to take care of the baby while this happens. And Carla is hell no. She's sick of bailing out Rob, who now has 2 kids that he never sees.
Right, yes, and both of whom have landed on Carla's doorstep.
But it's too late. Swain's already agreed. Right, you deal with it then, says Carla, and she throws the baby at Swain. At work, Carla's complaining some more about Rob to Sarah, who chooses to take Connie's side in this, I think. She's playing devil's advocate.
I think it's wise to take the baby side of things.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she says, you complain about Rob not knowing his kids well. Here you are. You've got a chance to get to know your niece.
Right.
And you're not going to take it.
Yes. I mean, you got to know Bobby.
Look how that turned out. I miss Bobby. I really do miss Bobby.
I also miss Bobby, I have to say. Not Simon, though.
Nah. So Carla goes home and explains to Swain about being pregnant when she and Peter first got married. And although she was unsure of motherhood at first, she was never more ready to be a mum, it turned out. And of course, it wasn't to be. Her baby would be 11 now. Carla says that she already has enough people to love and doesn't know how to care for a baby. Swain promises to show her.
Yeah.
I
Swain's
thought
like,
that was lovely.
Swain's like, hey, guess what? I've done this before. Betsy wasn't always like this.
It was right. It was nice when Carla said that she didn't know how to care for a baby. The line that I imagined in my head coming back was Swain saying, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it."
Uh-huh.
But she didn't. She
No.
said, "I'll show you how,"
Right.
which was the much better line
Absolutely.
and was actually quite touching.
Yes.
Betsy clutches her collar.
Right, yes. But Betsy is also enamored of this baby. Like, immediately.
Yeah. So on Tuesday, Carla's been up all night with a noisy Connie, much to the annoyance of Betsy and Ryan, because Ryan still lives there, let's remember.
Yes.
Swain,
The one hint of testosterone in the house of Sappho.
Swain takes over, which lets Carla get a well-earned break, but then Ed appears at the door with a pram. "Oh, not another one," says Carla, which was
hilarious.
But this is a gift from Ed, and that's nice, isn't it, Helen?
It is nice.
And then there's Rose later.
I mean, Dee Dee's kid's not using them anymore.
Right?
They just got him lying around the house. Ed's probably relieved that there's another baby.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, thank God, I
All
can
this
get rid of
crap
this
out
shit.
my house, yep. And then there's Rose later. Carla's trying to shush Connie again when Mary bounds over from nowhere,
Yes.
takes control, and Connie instantly settles. "How did you do that?" Carla asks, and that was funny as well.
Right, yes. And it's nice that the show remembers that Mary has had a baby
Yes.
who is definitely not a marine biologist.
Nope. Mary gives her a crash course on how to hold and comfort a baby, and Carla is a good pupil. When Swain and Betsy get home later, Connie is quietly being amazed by things in her cot, and Carla is sparked out on the sofa.
Yes.
No, she seems to be landed with this.
Yeah.
More than Swain saying, "I'll show you how,"
Right.
and I'm going to show you how by fucking off to work and leaving you to it. Nothing like getting thrown into the deep end.
Right?
On Wednesday, Swain's getting ready for work again while Carla sits and watches Holmes Under the Hammer or whatever with Connie.
It's delightful. I laughed so much at this. At Carla slagging off beige houses.
Connie has the sniffles and Swain has a couple of sympathy sneezes that are much better than her drunken hiccups. She fucks off to work. When she comes back, she assesses Carla's mothering as 9 out of 10. Just 9, says Carla, unhappy at this less than perfect score. Well, it seems that at some point, unbeknownst to Carla, Connie has nipped off for a shite and is fucking reeking, man. Carla tries to hand her off to Swain, but Swain doesn't deal with no shitty nappies. All the plumbing stuff was dealt with by bit. And you can say her name, says Carla. We've all got pasts. So Swain says Becky out loud for maybe the first time since,
Yeah.
and the world doesn't end.
Huzzah!
To restore balance, she asks Carla to rhyme off all her exes, but then doesn't have time to listen to them all, and I don't have time to write them all down.
No. Peter. That's
That'll
enough.
do. On Thursday, Swain and Carla have been up all night with Connie and have just got her off to sleep when Sally barges in with a contract for Carla to sign, or the pretense of a contract for Carla to sign. And then she says, oh, let me have a little look at the baby. And they're like, she's no changed since you saw her yesterday.
Right.
But then her phone ends up waking the baby. Sally rolls up her sleeves and says she'll take care of this. Swain points out that she's a mum too, and Sally says that she's done this twice, once for a straight and once for a
gay.
lesbian.
Yeah.
And she's currently doing it for 3 more. She says 1 straight, 1 lesbian, so that's nice.
Yes.
She gives them
She gets the matching pair.
She gives them unrequested advice and seems put out when no one's writing anything down. Eventually, Carla's run out of all patience and has to tell Sally to fuck off back to work, which she does, but she doesn't bow as she leaves this time. Have you noticed her bowing when she leaves? Have we spoken about this?
No.
Somebody pointed it out to me, like, in the last month or two, that most of the time when Sally's talking to Carla and she's leaving, she'll give a little bow or a little curtsy before she goes, a little deference. Quite like that. And now I'm looking out for it. I never see it. Sally says that she knows when she's not wanted, and that's as far as we get with that this week. I loved how nothing happened here. The baby's delivered, so to speak. Carla's looking after her, and that's pretty much it.
Right, yes. People bring her things. It is funny.
Super funny.
We get to see Carla be funny. And, I'm sure at least some of that baby talk about like home shows was ad-libbed.
Oh, 100%.
Which is fantastic. It's fantastic to give that character this room to breathe. And for this actor to be allowed to show her chops.
To her credit, Connie seems absolutely in awe of Carla as well.
Yes.
And her hair.
Yes. Babies
She's
do
just
like hair.
fascinated by her.
I'm shocked she hasn't yanked some out yet.
She's tugged on it once or twice.
Yeah.
Just the
It's a
cutest.
very good baby.
Yes. Yeah, because all that crying
Yeah.
seems to be added in post. I don't think that... Has that baby been crying yet? I don't think so. Kind of murmured a little bit. But yeah, very well behaved. It's exceptionally cute.
Yes. Granted, it's probably at least 2 babies.
The scene at number 6 is just...
So homey.
suddenly becomes so much lighter, even though nobody's sleeping, but it's
Yeah. It's nice.
it's kind of pleasant. There's something in the show that's kind of pleasant.
Yeah. They've given Carla an actual family, and that's nice.
And it's not just her looking after Betsy, which is what she says at the start. It's like,
Right.
she's looking after, she loves Swain and she loves Betsy.
Right.
But Betsy's like 18, so she's no child.
Well,
And, she behaves like it, but still very much Swain's more than hers. But now
Correct.
here's this baby that's her blood,
right.
which is something different,
It's
something
very
new.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm liking it a lot.
I mean, she did have Ryan already for her side. Because Ryan,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
he's
Ryan's
a
in a-
grown-ass man.
he is a grown-ass man most of the time. He has his moments. Let's be honest. Not as many as he did when he first got onto the show. But,
Arguably not enough to do for Ryan.
that's true. They need to add some more young women onto the street so that Ryan has something to do.
So to speak.
Yes. Or, Somebody needs to throw a party so he can DJ.
Oh, see, I can do without that when he's got the one headphone pressed up against his ear and he's just in a little box.
Yeah. I mean, he is running the Rape Hotel now.
Yes.
I guess he's busy. We just don't get to see him be busy very often.
Because anytime we see him in the Rape Hotel, it's usually getting robbed.
Yes.
No, this was very good. It was a welcome storyline to give us a little bit of levity and just there's no villains in this story, which is
breath
great.
of fresh air.
Or the villains that are in this storyline are already in jail.
Yes.
Very good. More of that, please. Our next storyline tonight is It's Worse Than That, He's Dead, Jim. On Monday, Tim is like a dog with two dicks, excited about Cassie's proposal to Steve that'll be happening later today. Cassie shushes him and tells him to keep Steve busy but available at the community garden at 2 p.m.
Yes.
In Nina's roles, Tracy fancies a cream horn
But not like that.
and is disappointed when Mary declines, saying that she's got something important to do at the shop. And she sends Tracy off for a meeting in Gorton. Tracy is sus as fuck about this as Mary literally runs away. Quite decent a bit of Mary this week.
Yes. Yes. And
She was a little bit shouty.
Yeah, but she's not being annoying about white tights this time.
No. So at 2 o'clock, Tim leads Steve out on a walk to the community garden, which isn't suspicious at all. As Steve takes a call, in the background, Mary and Cassie put up a floral proposal while Cassie goes down on one knee. But Tim soon gets the gist that Steve's phone call isn't good news, and he signals for them to abort. So Mary has to put a tarpaulin over everything, which she quickly does.
It was hilarious.
It was, because this is all kind of just slightly out of focus in the
Right.
background, and
Yep.
it's Steve's on the phone.
Those are the best things.
Steve explains that this was his dad's ex on the phone, and Jim is dead.
He did.
So he is. So they all head to the Rovers, and it's whiskies all round. Amy and Tracy come in to console Steve. Tracy wondering why Cassie's all dolled up, and Cassie tells her to suck her balls, and then secretly puts a ring box in Mary's pocket. And I'm not too sure why she didn't just keep a hold of it for herself.
I don't know.
Or put it in their own pocket. Or
I don't know.
put it behind the bar. Or
Well, so that Tracy can see
but
it.
it's just so
because
that Tracy
plot.
can see it.
Yeah.
So it's reminisce about gym time in the pub as Steve feels numb and wishes that he'd gone to see his dad while he had the chance. Ben tells him not
You're
to
better off, Steve.
Yeah, not to beat himself up about it. At the bar later with Mary and Tim, Tracy picks Mary's pocket and finds a ring box. Cassie was going to propose. I knew it, says Tracy. Mary and Tim tell her to shut the fuck up. Cassie can't propose today and it's been postponed, and Mary tells her not to ruin this or Amy will never forgive her. Oh, whatevs, says Tracy. It's thrown out time later. Steve was under the impression that he was getting a lock-in, but he's drunk enough as it is. There'll be plenty of time for Dead Dad Club tomorrow, says Ben. Steve says it's not funny, and then he lists some of Jim's greatest hits, like robbing the building society and conning them out of money by saying that his dead sister was alive. Tim's like, hold my beer, we can talk about my dad sometime. But it seems that Steve really is pissed off at Ben, quite shouty, and takes offence at the flippancy and moans that he never got a chance to say goodbye. So that's Jim dead.
That's Jim dead, so he is. Damn it, Jim.
Damn it, Jim.
Damn it, Jim. That's tattooed on my shoulder.
That's forever.
Yes, forever and ever. I mean, I feel like I may be too close to this story.
The old dead dad story.
The old dead, not very good dad story. Yeah. I mean, my dad never pretended that I had a dead sibling, so I guess there's that.
Did they rob a building society?
I'm sure he thought about it. Oh, jeez. Yeah.
I think it's all right to admit that Jim McDonald was a worse dad than yours.
Yeah. I suppose.
He was a worse dad than mine.
Yeah. But he was Irish, and that kind of balances things, doesn't it? Because Irish people are delightful.
Well, was
Even
Jim
when they're
delightful?
terrible.
Was Jim ever delightful?
No, but he had a very pleasing accent to listen to.
That goes a long way.
It does. I mean, look at you.
Well, certainly. I don't know. I feel the same way about this as I felt about Les Battersby.
Yeah.
It's the show has no place for Les Battersby these days, and no place for
Jim McDonald.
For Jim McDonald,
No.
and you can argue that that's a bad thing, and I'll probably agree with quite a lot of what you said, but in 2026, do we need a Jim McDonald character in the show? I'm not sure
No,
we do.
but I also don't think we need a dead Jim McDonald character in the show because this funeral's going to be awkward. Because Liz ain't coming. And
No.
Steve's brother that he knows about isn't
Andy.
coming. Andy's not coming. Liz isn't coming. So it's going to be a weird funeral where we're like, wait a second, where are these other people who are related to Jim McDonald who aren't showing up? Because there's no way they're showing up.
So here's what I wondered about this whole thing. Because our habit at the moment in the show is to bring characters back to either kill them off or kill them off screen. And it's never about them. Julie Carp coming back wasn't about Julie Carp coming back. It was about Eileen leaving.
Yeah.
I'm still not entirely sure what killing off Les Battersby achieved, other than giving Chesney some money temporarily,
Yeah. To do fuck all with.
which maybe got him out of a bind or something. I can't even remember.
No, but he definitely didn't start his cheeseburger line, though, did he?
His cheeseburger, no, he didn't.
Yeah, and that's what he should have done.
So it's like, well, what is the point of Jim McDonald being killed off?
Well, it's so that
And-
we can find out that Ben is Steve's brother.
Well, is that it? Because I think, in addition to that, we know that Cassie's leaving. And Cassie's proposed. Or
Yeah.
Cassie's going to propose. So
Right.
Cassie's tried to propose.
Right. And Steve's going to find out about it.
Yeah. Which we haven't talked about yet.
No.
But one wonders what umpteen times married Steve McDonald's going to think about getting married again.
Right. I mean,
And maybe that's what leads to Cassie.
he's been married
heading
so
off.
many times, it seems like he really enjoys it.
It's a hobby. On Tuesday, with Cassie there for moral support, Steve goes to the Rovers to apologise to Ben, but hey, no apology needed. Ben is happy to put it all behind him and to never talk of it again. We never talk of this again. Tracy comes in and is surprised that Mary isn't chatting with her new BFF. And Mary, this is my favourite bit of Mary this week. She has to explain very passive aggressively that Cassie needed flowers and she works in a flower shop.
Right.
So she was able to provide said flowers. It's
Right.
not that confusing.
Right. Yeah.
Well done, Mary.
And also, who died and made you my best friend? Because it's so
Right.
weird. Isn't it weird that Tracy's jealous of Mary spending any sort of time with Cassie?
Mm-hmm.
When Tracy treats Mary like garbage most of the time?
There's definitely a hierarchy, and Tracy's the boss, and Mary's the underling. So
right.
yeah,
But still.
she definitely sees Mary as beneath her
Yeah.
and treats her like that.
Right.
But then isn't happy when
She
Mary
hangs out
has
with other people.
has a better relationship with somebody else.
Right.
Later, Ben remarks that Cassie was looking splendid last night. Actually, he says, "You were drop dead gorgeous."
Uh-huh.
And Cassie's like, "That's a bad choice of words."
Yes. Which was hilarious.
And wonders if the two of them had plans that they had to change. Cassie says, "No, she was just road testing a new outfit and she'll send it back." And she catches Tracy's eye at that. Later, back at number one, Tracy, just such a cow, tells Steve that Cassie was going to propose to him yesterday, but Jim's death made her abort. So it did. She just thought that Steve should know. He's a bit shell-shocked to this as they share the most awkward hug ever. And that's as far as we get with that this week.
Yeah. Again, the dead dad storyline.
The dead dad storyline, and again, Steve, when he learns about the supposed proposal, doesn't look excited about it.
No.
I don't know if he's awkwardly hugging Tracy because it's Tracy,
Right.
and their divorce came through that we never really knew about until last
Right,
week when
yeah.
Tim just dropped it into the conversation.
Oh, yeah, it happened. Ooh.
It's not the only awkward hug that we'll get this week, but
No.
that was a confusing one.
Yeah.
Because, like, is Tracy wanting Steve back? Why would she get involved in this? She just doesn't want Steve to be happy.
She just doesn't want Steve to be happy. She doesn't want anybody else. She doesn't want him, but she doesn't want anyone else to want him.
The classic. They're clearly not going to get married, given that Cassie's leaving. So,
Yeah, which is kind of a bummer, isn't it? That we already know that. Mm-hmm. It's like the worst kind of spoiler, you know?
yeah, I'm not sure how engaging this would be anyway. Although,
Engaging.
I know.
Oh, my dear, you have such a way with words.
Thank you. Thank you for noticing. I quite like Cassie and Steve together, and I do quite like Cassie and Steve together.
Yeah.
If only she would just completely knock it off with the whole trying to kill Ken thing, which I think she's got over.
Right, yeah. She's
She
not
doesn't
trying
seem
to
be
kill Ken
currently trying
anymore.
to kill Ken, which is a good thing.
It's hard to care about this when you know that the actor is leaving.
It's hard to care about it. And then
And
it's
it's-
also hard to think of what do we gain from having a dead Jim? We had a Jim that we didn't know where he was.
Yeah.
And Steve didn't know where he was. He had
Right.
to go and track him down.
Yeah.
Let's just say that Steve couldn't find him.
Right.
We wouldn't be entirely surprised by that.
Or that
Jim
he's-
could be anywhere.
Or that he's been dead for a while.
So to bring in this, and we're just
Because if he finds out, if the landlord calls and complains that he hasn't been paid and hasn't gone into the apartment yet, and then they find dead Jim in the apartment, he's been dead for a while, then we don't have to worry about a funeral. And then we don't have this awkward funeral where Steve is the only member of the family who's there. Steve and Amy.
Tracy will probably be there. And Ben will probably go for moral support. And Maggie will probably go and they'll see the photograph.
Something will happen. But still,
Something along those lines will happen.
because when I think about the Les Battersby, well, we didn't really have a funeral, did we?
No, and we don't even know how he really died. There's an insinuation
there's
he got
this
eaten by a cow, but that was...
No, or that he got smashed by something that was supposed to smash the cow. Or that a dead cow fell off and, hit him in the head or something.
It was a cow-related
It was a
death.
slaughterhouse mystery, and which never got solved. Remember, there was this whole thing of ooh, Chesney's going to solve this murder case. And then that just didn't happen, and he just took the money.
Because they paid him off, yeah.
Right. And so I don't understand why we're going to have a funeral for Jim.
Yeah, just stop killing off old legacy characters that aren't in the show anymore for no reason.
Right. Or for the reason of furthering other stupid plot lines.
But what I'm saying is, Jim doesn't need to be dead for the Ben storyline
To
to
happen,
happen.
right.
If that is what's going to happen.
If
and I think
anything-
we're absolutely sure that is what's going to
If
happen.
anything, Jim being alive and just showing up one day would be even better.
I kind of like the idea of him being dead for a long time in his flat and nobody knew about it. Because that just adds a little bit of tragedy to it.
Yeah,
It makes Steve feel worse.
right.
As it is, he's got this little guilt that he only found out about this last week. So
Right.
it's not as if there's a whole lot of longing there, I guess, as the
Right,
time that
yeah.
he was outside the hospital and he didn't go in. Well,
And it's Jim was that close this whole time, where he's close enough to drive to the hospital where he is.
close enough for somebody else to give him a lift to the hospital.
Right, yeah. Which I suppose means something in the context, because for British people, I've noticed that length means more than it does here. I would think of nothing of just giving a passing acquaintance a lift 30 miles away, whereas it feels like
Yeah.
in the UK that would be a huge chore.
Yeah, if I'm in Stirling, I'm not giving anybody a ride to Glasgow for no
Right.
way.
Whereas I would have no problem driving somebody to Lansing or Jackson.
I'd probably give somebody a ride to Detroit if they really wanted it.
Right, yeah.
It's 80 miles away.
Sure. It's yeah, okay, I'll give you a ride to Detroit, and then I'll stop, briefly at Mom's Spaghetti, pick up some spaghetti, and, maybe go see a show, catch the Tigers game, and then drive home. It's one of the things that
Helen's doing none of those things.
It's one of those things that kind of delights me about the fact that Stelly's going to college in Grand Rapids, because then we can go to Grand Rapids and catch a movie or a show and eat at a really fabulous restaurant and then forget to visit her.
And I think she'd really, really like it if the last bit was true. All right, let's move on to our next storyline. Bernie, out of our Bernies. Just a few scenes about this.
Yeah, not much.
Not much on Monday. Kit's still in the cunt books with Sarah about the whole nearly killing Mal business, and she rejects his advances of avocado and poached egg on toast, which actually looked really nice.
Yes.
In comes Brody, who
It would work
senses
for me.
that he's walked in on an argument, and when he asks if they're any closer to catching Mal's attacker, it gets icier still. He goes back to report all this to Bernie, and it seems to confirm her suspicions, and it also seems that Brody was set up and sent over there to get the goss.
Right, yes, because Bernie slips him a 20.
Slips him a $5, and he complains, and then she says, "Do you want a bacon barn?" And he says yes, and she says, "That'll be a $5."
I love
was
that.
lovely.
That was great.
So later, she lures Kit to Nina's rolls and asks him if he put Mal in hospital, and after a while, he reluctantly confirms it, but says it was only a shove, and he didn't think that Bernie would get into trouble about it. He says he was about to confess when she got released. She thinks it's for the best that he didn't lose his job on account of that loser Mal, and then says that she and Dev are fucking off to Tenerife for a bit. Kit wishes them both well, and that is all that happens in that this week. So
Yes.
this felt
Jeez.
like drawing a line under this.
Dev,
They're off to the Canaries.
right, yeah. Dev just got back from this camping trip with Asha, and now he's fucking off to Tenerife. Who's running these businesses?
And did they have a honeymoon? Or no, one of them went
Bernie
away.
went on the honeymoon by herself
That's right.
at Dev's insistence. So I guess this is like the actual honeymoon where they get to do honeymoony things.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yes, this got all, or at least till now, this is resolved.
Right. But we don't know. Mal might die, and then it'll become an even bigger thing if Mal dies.
Kit's still the one that's investigating this. Last week he was looking really concerned that he was the one that was investigating it, not realising that if he's the one that's investigating it, he can do a really shitty job at it.
Right.
And it just never gets
Or
solved.
just, yeah, cold case. Oh, well, we'll never know. Maybe it was that guy that twatted Daniel over the head. Only he's still in prison, getting his hots in a cot.
Oh, yes. And not, what's his name? Will.
Yeah, not what's his name, Will.
Didn't get any Will this week.
Thank God.
That's good. That's good when that happens.
Yeah.
No Will and no Megan.
Ugh. Breath of fresh air.
No Maggie either.
Not really, no. But we do get Theo
We
and...
get a little bit of Maggie, I think, don't we?
Yeah.
She's there for the Jim death thing, but
we
has
get-
very little to say.
Right, but we do get Theo and Jodie, so it evens out.
We do.
We don't get all 5 of them all together, which is pleasant.
And I think this is a problem with how they're doing it. I was thinking about this today about, I really like the way that the show is broadcast now. I like that it's available when I get up in the morning that I can watch and then got the rest of the day. I like that it's half an hour. It's a smaller commitment spread over a number of days rather than a bigger commitment on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday. So it suits my schedule a bit better.
Me too.
But what the price of it seems to be is that storylines are more likely to drop in and out. And when they drop out, we don't see them for a week or so.
Which,
And for some in that, and that's okay, but really nothing happened in that. The way that we left it, it's hard to believe that nothing happened. It's hard to believe that nothing's currently happening between Sam and Megan, for example.
yes.
That situation is in equilibrium for a whole week.
Correct.
But I don't know if that's a function of the way that the show is now aired, or if it's a function of the fact that they've told us what's going to happen basically towards the end of April. We know who those players are. We just don't know which one of them is going to get killed and who's going to do it. So the pacing of the story really becomes far more disjointed.
It does. I will give you that.
So is it because of the way that the show is now aired, or is it because they've told us in advance what's going to happen and now they've got to eke it out
Right.
so that no storyline gets too far ahead of the others?
Frankly, when it comes to these particular storylines, I'm not bothered because it's the sort of thing that I really don't want all 5 of these terrible storylines every week because it drags me down emotionally.
Mm.
And,
When I saw Theo this week, I was
oh, fuck, not him again.
I felt anxiety about it.
Yeah, Yeah. So not having to deal with Carl and Jodie and Megan and Maggie and Theo all in the same week, it lightens my anxiety a little bit. It is beneficial to my mental health. And yes, I am implying that sometimes Coronation Street is detrimental to my mental health.
I think undoubtedly it is
Yeah.
to many people. I think it is triggering in some storylines, and that's why they've got warnings.
Right.
And that's why they've got, if you've been affected by the storyline things. 'Cause
Right.
people do get affected by it.
Although those don't show up on YouTube.
They don't.
No.
So
Yeah.
if you have been affected by that storyline on YouTube,
Right.
you can sort it out yourself.
It's like I enjoy a good horror movie, but I'm not watching horror every single day. You know? You got to take a break.
You do. Let's take a break by moving on to our next storyline, Where There's a Will.
Is there
This
a will?
is such a strange storyline, the way that this is played out. On Monday, at the Undertaker's, George
this storyline. Okay.
is doom scrolling and has discovered that he's received a whole bunch of new 1-star reviews, and most of them aren't even from clients that he recognises. All of which makes it sound like some of them are from clients that he recognises. And maybe George is actually kind of shit at Undertaking after all, and is maybe deserving of some of these 1-star reviews.
It's hilarious.
It's affecting his overall rating, and this could scupper the business. All during this, Christina is dealing with a Mrs. Swanson. It's not the best name.
No, it makes me think of
Kirsty.
vegetables and chicken.
And broth.
Yes.
On Tuesday, Christina has been to the cops to report Annie for grifting and defamation without speaking to George about this first. But when the cops show up at the Undertaker's, it's to whisk George off to the station to answer questions about the fraud allegations. Oh, pig's tits, says George. He's released and meets up with Christina and Glenda in the pub later, and Glenda vows revenge. No one destroys the reputation of my brother except me, she says.
Yes. That's hilarious. I like that Glenda is involved in this. I like that she's sticking up for her brother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
As she should, but still.
On Thursday, Nina's Rolls, George is still fretting like a hen on a hot girdle about the police case against him, but then he gets a call from his solicitor, and it seems that the case has been dropped.
The criminal case.
Everyone is elated. Back at the Undertaker's, he harps on at Todd about posting something on socials to confirm his innocence.
You know how to use that social media. He sounds like such an old grampy when he says these sorts of things.
Which Todd thinks is the worst idea he's ever heard.
Yes.
George leaves just as he takes another phone call, but we don't hear what that was about. Whatever it was, the next we see George, he's in the pub and in the mood to get fucked on as much and as varied booze as possible.
Yes.
Mary quickly senses a problem and calls reinforcements. By the time Glenda and Christina appear, George is 7 sheets to the wind and insults Sean, so it's not all bad. He starts to talk about Elmer Fudd and rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season. Well, it's George season at the moment, and everyone wants a piece of him. Back at the Undertaker's, he's sobered up quite dramatically as he explains to Todd that Annie still intends to take him to civil court.
Yes.
And the cost of that could ruin him, even if he wins. This is the end, and he apologises to a photo of Roy Hudd for being such a monumental fuck-up, when he actually hasn't taken any kind of action here, and all of this is Annie's mum's fault, and Annie's.
Right.
And that's as far as we get with that this week.
Yeah, and it's funny because he's right.
George's crime here is being named in a will.
Right, yeah.
He hasn't done anything.
And he's right. This civil case will cost him and Annie more than the 10 grand itself. So it makes you wonder what her intentions truly are here. Because she ain't... It's kind of pointless at this point. At this point, it just seems like she just doesn't care. And you'd think that Adam would be saying to his client, look, just let it go.
Adam's job here is to get the best for his client.
Right. And the best for his client is not to waste a whole bunch of money for an amount that is less than what he's going to make on this.
Well, he's also there to act on their instruction. And if that's what she says to do, then he can advise against it. But if
Right.
she's dead set on doing it, then there's nothing much he can do about it.
That's true.
For George to be as passive as he's been in this, it seems uncommonly unfair for him to be concerned about this.
Right. It's funny because he's like, he is being quite passive aggressive about this. It's like he's sitting and he's doom scrolling and he's worrying about it, but he's not taking any sort of action.
I don't think that's what I mean by passive. I think what I mean by passive is that his actions haven't caused this to happen.
No, he was just a delight.
Apparently.
Yes, which I can believe, because George is a delight.
But people contest wills, I'm guessing, all the time.
Well, yeah.
And they don't have to take people to civil court for it, do they? Or do they? Maybe they do, I don't know. I've never really thought about it. If
Yeah,
you're contesting a will...
Because typically it wouldn't be criminal. It's weird that she, tried to get him a criminal case out of this first.
So what is what she's doing at the moment, just contesting the will? Which she's more than within her rights to do.
I believe so. But it feels like she's also trying to get a civil restitution for the harm that this has done to her.
But again, this isn't George's doing.
But she thinks it's George's doing.
So somebody needs to explain to her how death works then, because it's...
Well, it's not the death. It's the leaving something for him in the will part.
Which caused by her mum's death. But...
Well, no. Her mum left the money in the will before she died.
Sure, but the whole reason why we're talking about this is because she's dead.
Right, yeah. And we've already said that Annie has gotten the lion's share of her mother's estate. Far more than 10 grand. So it does feel like there's something emotional on Annie's end that she's taking out on George more than anything.
Yeah, there's something far more to it than just this, because, like I said...
But watch,
George hasn't done anything...
But watch, it's just going to be this. They're not digging too deeply here and the emotions of a grieving daughter.
Unless somehow, as you've been kind of elbowing for a while,
that Christina's
somehow
this,
involved in it.
Somehow. Like Christina has somehow gotten the old dear to sign something when she was in the funeral home.
The two of us can take George to the cleaners if we just do X, Y, and Z sort of thing.
Or, it's, oh, this is just some preliminaries, you just need to sign off on this. Oh, you don't need to read it. Sort of thing. When Annie's mom was planning her own funeral.
I feel like I need this to make more sense than it currently does.
Yeah. It feels like they were like, oh, well, we need to give George a storyline and not just be like on the sidelines of the Todd and Theo storyline. What sort of storyline can we give George? We've already paired him off with Christina. Let's make people think that he's a horrible person when in fact he is the most delightful person in the cast.
He's a great character at the moment.
Yeah.
He's always a great character.
Right, and Tony Maudsley himself is a delightful human being in his own right.
Yeah, I'm just so confused by it all. It does feel like there has to be something more to it than just this, because what happens when people leave their money to like cat charities and their next of kin go, well, wait a minute, this isn't fair. Do they think that the cat charity manipulated the dead person into leaving them money?
I feel like that's less so than like a funeral director, because charities are you're supposed to give money to charity. You're not supposed to give extra money to the undertaker.
Right. Well, you can tip them. That's certainly possible. But I think we mentioned this last week. This could all have been avoided if at the time George says, I can't possibly accept this.
Right. Yeah. When Annie came in the first time and revealed this to him, because he was in shock. He didn't know, which feels weird that he's not informed until Annie comes in and accuses him of something. That feels weird. That feels like a letter informing him of this was dropped off at the undertaker's and somebody, I don't know, maybe Christina has swiped that letter.
Again, this feels very deep for Coronation Street. All right, let's move on then to our next storyline. Sucks to be a Webster.
It really does.
On Monday, it's Crafts Day at the prison, and Debbie and Lou are making friendship bracelets. So that's nice, Helen, isn't it?
Yes, they're making friendship bracelets for the girls.
Later-
The gals.
Later, they're going to braid each other's hair and then talk about boys. Lou has made one for Joni that she's sure her daughter will love when she visits later. In comes Paula, and she doesn't have any friends, so she tries to steal one of their friendship bracelets. Lou orders her to return it or she'll smash your stupid fucking face in. Fine, says Paula.
And
Didn't want
besides, your name's Paula, not Joni.
Didn't want your stupid friendship bracelet anyway. And she throws it on the floor and spits on it. I don't know if that was wise, says Debbie. And Debbie is proved to be right. Because on Tuesday, Debbie finds Lou all covered in jam in her cell and calls for officer backup, but Lou quickly shushes her. This was Paula's doing, but if she makes a fuss, it'll be worse, and she won't get to visit with her kids later. So Debbie intercepts the guard and tells her it was a false alarm. She was just feeling a bit dizzy. The guard isn't impressed by this waste of her time.
Forgetting that this woman has dementia.
Yeah. At visiting, Lou eventually confesses to Sally and her kids that she was in a fight, but all during this, Sally's keeping an eye on Carla and Debbie at another table, and Carla's putting pressure on Debbie for more money and talks her into setting up a direct debit. Once this is done, he fucks off and leaves Debbie hanging for a hug. What a prick, did you notice that?
Oh, God, I just want to punch him in the face.
She reaches across the table to touch his hand, and he pulls it away. And then as soon as he gets his money, he says, right, well, I need to be off.
Yeah.
And she says, well, there's still 5 minutes to go. No, I've got places to go.
Sorry.
And so they both stand up and she puts her arms out and he just walks by her.
Yeah. Punch him in the fucking face.
It was the coldest thing. Oh, it was so bad.
Who wouldn't want to hug Debbie?
She's toty. Look at her.
Look at her.
She's 4'11".
She's adorable. Hug that woman. I would hug her every day.
Oh, it was just so awful.
It was terrible.
How could, oh.
Punch him in the face every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day I want to wake up, hug Debbie, and punch Carl in the face. And that's my day made.
And then mom's spaghetti on the way home.
Right, yes.
Sally comes over and says, it's not right that Carl is after her for her money. And Debbie's annoyed by this and says, Sally would help out her girls. But Sally says her girls wouldn't ask because they're grown-ass women. And Carl only visits because she's essentially paying them to do so. Debbie tells her to fuck off and mind her own beeswax.
Which, I mean...
Yeah, that's fair.
Sally, you keep sticking your nose in places it doesn't belong this week.
Sally does fuck off, but she does not mind her own beeswax, and she tells Ronnie. So later, when Carl comes into the pub, Ronnie, Sally and Ben all have a go at Carl for being a leech, and Ben throws him out before Ed and Ronnie break him in half. Ben also doesn't seem to be looking for excuses to give Carl a decent kicking. Those two had words at the start,
like very
didn't they?
beginning, yes.
Carl doesn't care and says he's off to spend Debbie's money. What? Which is a bit pantomime, wasn't it? A bit too pantomime.
Such a loser.
In the prison, it looks like Debbie's having another turn. She shouts on Lou to leave her alone and seems to be losing her balance or the use of her leg as she slouches over to her bed. A passing guard has her cards marked as a time waster and so leaves her as she slumps onto the floor by her bed.
Which, again, it's got to be on record somewhere that this woman has dementia and to take her seriously when it looks like something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is wrong with this guard?
Yeah,
It's like they've given her the worst guard ever.
they're in charge of her well-being.
Right, yeah. They get in trouble if something happens to her.
Well,
they're supposed to.
Mm-hmm. On Wednesday, Lou's concerned when she can't find Debbie. A guard explains that she collapsed yesterday and spent the night in hospital, but she's on her way back. Later, Debbie explains about her TIA and how this one was worse than the last one, and maybe this is just how things are starting to go downhill for her. Maybe this is what that looks like. Lou's shocked and sad and asks if she's going to tell Ronnie. Well, probably, says Debbie, who says that he knows what he's in for. Later, Lou's on the phone to Shanice, and this is so
cute.
funny.
Oh my God.
Well, it's been lovely talking to you, says Shanice, but love you and leave you.
I'll see you later. And then she just puts the phone down, doesn't even hang up. I love it. She's so cute.
Is this a Sally impression that she's doing? I think it is. It was brilliant. Well, I've got to be going then. Oh, yep. So she just drops the phone on the couch and then fucks off. And Sally comes over, hears that Lou's on still on the phone and ask what's on her mind. So Sally finds out about what's been happening with Debbie, and she goes to tell Ronnie about Debbie's TIA, and this is the first that he's heard of it, and he's on the phone immediately to
Right,
complain
which
to the
is
prison.
shocking that the prison didn't call him and let him know.
She could have died.
Right.
She could have died.
Yeah. And they would have just been like, oh, well.
Later, Debbie's caught wind that Ronnie's coming in for an emergency meeting and asked what Lou did. And Lou admits to telling Sally, and Debbie is fucking furious about this, calling Lou an idiot, and no wonder given that she's married to a murderer. Lou likes she's about to thump Debbie into next week, but a lethargic guard keeps them separated. You're dead to me, says Debbie, and she storms off. And that's as far as we get with that this week. Debbie is definitely going downhill.
Yes. They need to pull her out of there.
She reckoned that it was the environment, or she said at the start that it was the environment was having a bad effect on her. So I think that's what we're supposed to believe about this.
Because it has a bad effect on people who are perfectly mentally and physically healthy.
Yep.
So imagine.
It's just a shame because Lou and Debbie were getting on so well, especially on Crafts Day.
Right, yes. And it seems like Lou is very understanding of all of this, it seems, which is nice. And Lou
Well,
is
up to the point that she was going to punch Debbie for
sticking up
bad
for
mouth
her.
and Mick.
Yeah, but even that, I mean, Lou's deep down, Lou knows. Debbie's right.
Well, sure. It also seemed that when Sally was going on about Carl being after her money and essentially that Debbie's just paying to have him come in and visit and all that stuff and all her advice about, you know, Debbie's saying, well, at least he comes in and I owe him so much and I'm his mum after all and all that sort of stuff. It seemed that she recognised that what Sally was saying was absolutely true.
Yeah.
And then when she was having her turn, when she was looking in the mirror and sort of looking at her face and stuff,
Yeah.
the voices that she had, the special sound effects that were going on, I think backed that up a bit. Some of the things that she was remembering. I guess it's confusing for her though.
Yeah. Again, you know, that sort of thing is confusing and traumatic for anyone, but for someone with dementia especially, that's got to be like the most horrific thing. It's shocking to me because I'm sure there has to be like some sort of mental health facility for people who need to be imprisoned but are also having mental health issues.
At HMP Norcross?
I don't know what that is.
What's the prison that they're in?
No, I mean a facility that's a prison, but a prison specifically for people with mental health issues.
Yeah, they're state hospitals that are what you would call mental asylums.
Right. But we don't call them that anymore.
You don't. And just as well.
Right, yeah. And I mean, there are issues with those as well because those tend to be the sort of places where you're not going to get like a sentence. It's, well, you're severely mentally ill, so you're here for the rest of your life, sort of thing. But still, it feels like putting somebody with dementia in like a regular facility with people who are going to take what she says the wrong way feels like you want her to get hurt.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't imagine, for example, somebody with Tourette's doing well in prison.
No. It was like Johnny when Johnny went in.
Yeah.
You got an old man
Who sees imaginary cats.
and his MS
Right.
is flaring up left and right.
Yeah.
And
And you're
then
just
you've got
putting him
Debbie.
in a regular facility with Gary. Fucking Gary, man.
And here Debbie's got Lou.
Right. Yeah.
At least Sally got Abby.
Right. Yeah. They each get their own very special prison friend who's also a member of the cast.
I've complained long and hard about the twists that they put on these already dramatic storylines, these already sad storylines.
Right.
Debbie getting dementia, Debbie having a secret son, all this stuff is more than enough drama to be going on with without
Right, yeah.
putting her in jail.
Exactly. Oh, well.
Our penultimate storyline tonight, Theo No Sleeves.
Boo.
Thankfully, we didn't get an awful lot of Theo.
That's true.
On Thursday, Todd is describing George's woes to Summer, but then, oh, did you see him when Theo comes in? It's like someone's just put ice cubes down the back of his shirt.
Yeah.
He just completely clams up and
Yep.
just almost cowers in his chair.
Yeah.
Because Theo wants to know what they're talking about, obviously. Oh, fuck off, Theo. It's Theo's birthday tomorrow, and when Summer leaves, Todd tells him that he doesn't have enough money from his allowance to buy a present. He actually said allowance.
He did.
Theo is scunnered about having to lend him money to buy his own fucking birthday present.
Well, it's Todd's money too. Just think of it as the portion of Todd's income that's in your account for some reason.
He gives him 200 quid and says that's got to cover the meal too. And then Todd mentions the joint account and how they were planning to get that set up, and seemingly it hasn't been.
No. Seemingly, for some reason, Todd has just had all of his pay sent to Theo's account that he has no access to. Why would you do that? Why would you be like, oh, well, yeah, sure. Here we go. I'm going to sign up for direct deposit to your account and I won't have any access to it. Okay, I guess that makes sense.
See, this is what I think, and every time I think that, I think, nope, I'm victim blaming here.
Right.
And I read people online saying, no, this is an accurate representation of somebody who's been coerced into this sort of mindset where this behaviour is absolutely normal or acceptable or something that you put up with. But it's just so difficult to square that with Todd's character.
Right. And yeah, that is the issue. That it's not that I don't believe this sort of thing happens. It's that I don't believe this sort of thing would happen to Todd. That Todd would be, especially not Todd immediately after the death of Billy, after acknowledging to Billy that this was a toxic relationship that he needed rescuing from.
Mm-hmm.
And then to all of a sudden just not only go back to Theo, but double down on all of it.
Yeah. Again, we just put twists onto things. Like this storyline should have ended with Billy, even if Billy was to go on and die.
Right.
That the things that Todd learned about himself and learned about the relationship should have lingered longer.
Right.
But, I don't know. But then bereavement does strange things to you.
It's true.
I don't know.
But it's also funny because Todd hasn't told anybody about this. And there have been times where Todd has not had the money to do things. And people are like, what's wrong? Why don't you have the money to do this? And it feels like if he honestly didn't think that there was anything wrong with what Theo has done, he would say, oh, well, I was having a hard time with getting my bills paid. So all of my money goes to Theo now, and he takes care of the bills.
He said,
and it feels like if he had done, if he truly thought that this was okay, he would do that, and he doesn't.
He said things along those lines to start with.
Did he?
Yeah, he excused this strange behaviour more to start with, but then, and he made excuses for it.
Right? Yeah, for the behaviour, but not for, oh, all of my money is direct deposited to Theo.
No, he hasn't done that. Still hasn't.
Yeah.
Theo changes the subject by complaining that Billy's cufflinks are on display like this is a shrine. At work, Todd's a clumsy fucker and manages to drop his phone because he doesn't know how to put his laptop down.
And also, his phone doesn't have a screen protector on it. What is wrong with you, Todd?
The way that his phone died, because it's ringing.
Right.
And then he drops the phone and it goes on wah, 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 kind of noise. It's like it's a sad trombone.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, God damn it. Just more expense. And he can't answer it when Theo's calling him. So, again, not all bad news then. He goes home to raid his cupboard money, but it's all rattly money that's in there and not enough to replace a phone or a phone screen. And then he remembers Billy's cufflinks and he ends up pawning them, but he only gets 70 quid for them, so they couldn't have been that impressive. Summer has already bought Theo a present. It's a white shirt. And is shocked that Todd still hasn't got round to getting him something himself. And she calls him Mr. Romantic, probably for taking his sweet time about it. So now Todd is worried about this 200 quid, fretting about his broken phone, and guilty about pawning Billy's cufflinks. And that's as far as we get with that this week.
Oh dear.
Every time there's a little break, Theo seems to come back with a worse haircut. And it doesn't help because the sight of him is now enough to make my skin crawl.
And it kind of feels like this is part of his villain origin story. It's like how Emperor Palpatine gets more and more decrepit every single time you see him in the Star Wars movies. At first he seems kind of normal. And then
Does he?
And then he just he looks like an old man. And then all of a sudden, like, his skin is getting like whiter and whiter. His voice is getting more like this.
I thought it was like that from the start when we first met him.
Not in the prequels.
Oh, I don't count the prequels, they're right.
You like Jar Jar Binks, though, don't you?
You go fuck yourself. Oh, dearie me. I remember going to see that when it came out.
Yeah, I was so excited.
And the crawl.
Yeah.
As soon as it started to talk about trade routes and tax and stuff, I was like, what the fuck is this? And I thought that for the rest of the movie. Again, just one of these things I just want to be over. And we know we've got more than a month of it at least to go.
It's exhausting. I just out of all of the terrible villain storylines, this is the one that just exhausts me. It's exhausting to watch it. And it's the most detrimental to my mental health.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is it's the worst one. It's the one that I feel most invested in because of how much that I like Todd's character and how much I like the people that are around him.
Right.
I feel probably for Debbie next because I love Debbie.
Right. And I really want people to understand what we're saying. This is worse to our mental health than a story about pedophilia.
Yes.
Because we don't care about Will.
Because I don't care about Will. I don't know Will enough to care.
Right, exactly.
And he's an asshole.
He is a dick.
He's an asshole, probably in part thanks to the grooming.
Correct,
but still.
But still.
I didn't know him when he wasn't like that.
Right, yeah.
And it's fiction.
I mean, when the story comes up and when, like, Megan's touching him and stuff, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
But then once they're gone, once that bit's over, I'm fine. But whenever Theo is on the screen, not only am I going, whoa, and cringing, I'm cringing for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
It upsets me for the rest of the day. And that's not why I watch soap operas. Soap operas aren't supposed to upset me for the rest of the day.
No, you know, I used to read about people who would skim through storylines. And I think there's probably times where I would have skimmed through a storyline myself. Yeah. There are certainly times when I skip to the end of a scene.
Right, yeah.
And then see how the scene ended and then I'll maybe go back.
Right. And
I do watch it all one way or another eventually.
And there are things that when it's on screen, that's when I open my laptop and try to focus on and clearing some of my emails. So I'm sort of still watching it, but not really, because it physically hurts me to watch it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's finish on
a cheery note.
On a cheerier note with Sister from the Same Mister. On Tuesday, in harrowing scenes that ITV for some reason hadn't provided a support number for, Adam steps in a dog shit on the pavement. And it's an enormous Todd from a tiny dog.
Right, yes. How did all of that come out of David?
That's the same shit that was in the precinct. I'm almost certain of it.
You think they just like move it around?
Yeah. Jodie, He screams, shaking his fists to the heavens. He's late for a meeting and has ruined his shoes, but after he cleans himself up, he heads over to number 8 to shout at Jodie some more, but Shona's not in the mood to put up with this, as tomorrow is Harper's surgery, and she calls Adam a clown with big clown shoes on, stepping in dog shit, and sends him packing. At the pub, though, later, Glenda tells Shona that she and everyone on the street has Shona and the baby in their thoughts. Not you, though, David. On Wednesday... At the hospital, it's kind of difficult to identify which bit of Harper we're looking at as she lies in the incubator.
Right, yeah, I think that's on purpose.
It's the day of the big surgery, and Shona is frightened while David puts on a brave face and says how much of a fighter Harper is. Back at number 8, Nick is reading out the risks of the surgery to Gail over the phone.
It was hilarious.
That was hilarious. Everyone has been told to stay at home, but Jodie thinks it's weird and reckons that Shona didn't really mean it, so everyone decides to head to the hospital after all, except
En
you,
masse.
Lily.
Yeah, no, Lily, you have to go to school.
So the Platts...
And I guess Sam too, but we don't get to see Sam.
So the Platts and Toya descend on the waiting room where David was doing Shona's head in. David isn't sure why Toya's there until she reveals that she brought sandwiches. So the Platts nattered their usual shite about Wi-Fi and Aquafaba, while Shona looks like she might kill. Jodie says it was her idea to come, and this puts a smile on Shona's face. But when she sees 2 doctors rush into the surgery area, she's super stressed again, and she heads in, and David chases after, and then tells everyone to fuck off home and leave them to it. Later, he runs into Jodie in the corridor, who says that she was on her way out but needed something to eat that presumably wasn't Toya's sandwiches. David is apologetic for biting everyone's head off, and she says that he needs a hug, so awkwardly gives him one.
Awkwardly.
But not like that. He doesn't really... He's like Steve. He's being hugged, but he's not really hugging back.
No. He's kind of cringing the whole time.
Mm-hmm. On her way out, she runs into another mother and baby, and the mother asks if she's with the baby who's having the operation today, and creepy fucker Jodie tells this strange woman that she's Shona and that Harper is her baby and David is her husband. Yeesh.
Gross.
They chat about how useless men are for a few minutes before the woman leaves, saying goodbye, Shona, proving that she remembers her name. And this will probably become important. Sometime later, it's dark outside when Shona and David step out, and the Platts have all been waiting in their car rather than going home. Shona reveals that the operation was a success. Back at Harper's room, David and Shona share a hug and a smooch, while creepy fucking Jodie peers at them through the door like she used to do when she was first introduced to the show.
Right, yeah. It's creepy.
Yeah.
She is, yeah. They're not even trying to hide the single white femaleness of this storyline.
No.
Yeah, the subtext has become text in caps and bold.
And underlined.
And italicized.
With some arrows pointing at it.
And wingdings.
No, if wingdings would make it illegible.
Well, the wingdings are on the side.
Oh, okay.
Remember wingdings?
I do.
Yeah. Back before we had emojis.
I don't have anything else to say about them, but I do remember them. Do you remember their cousin, Webdings?
No.
Ah, sweet summer child.
Do you remember that paperclip that tried to help you write letters and stuff?
Give it its proper name.
Clippy.
Clippy. I don't care for this. When she starts going on about...
That's definitely thunder.
When she starts going
Thunder? Thunder?
When she starts going on about her baby Harper and the operation and stuff, it's
My
like,
husband David.
it's so cringy. And that's why this is unwatchable in places.
Yeah.
Because it's so cringy.
Yeah. Not as cringy as Theo, but it's getting there.
And I don't think that's cringy. I think that's distressing to watch. This isn't really distressing so much. It's just, I feel embarrassed for everyone that's involved in it. I have to say, I thought Harper, there was no chance that she was pulling through that operation.
Yeah.
So this is a chance to get rid of a baby that otherwise is just going to have
Look, they
to
already have another baby.
keep in a cupboard somewhere until it's off age to be seen.
Right.
There's too many babies too many young kids We don't need another one.
Right. We don't even get to see the ones we've got. I mean, we did lose.
And why does their names all start with J?
No, not anymore.
Well, not the Welsh ones.
No. Well, yeah, and that's like an older kid problem, the J's. Because now we have Harper and Connie and Ralphie. Not Ralphie, Frankie. Why do I always want to call Frankie Ralphie? He doesn't even have glasses to shoot his eye out with.
Connie's too close to Cassie for me.
Right. Well, that's like Bernie and Bertie.
I'm not
Ridiculous.
saying that that's fine either.
Ridiculous
There's far
that
too
you
many
introduce
names
a
that are so
character
close.
named Bernie and then have when you already have a baby named Bertie.
Theo and Todd gives me problems. Still, I find those names interchangeable. Connie and Cassie, definitely. Harper's fine.
Yeah, Harper's fine. There's no other H person in the show.
So Harper has somehow survived this operation.
Yes.
I don't give her much of a chance.
Yes.
But she's
She
going,
will
she's
go
going to be
on
fine, apparently.
To grow up and be best friends with Will Ferrell.
So on Thursday, Jodie is still at the hospital with Shona and David, although they're falling asleep, and when they wake up, they're surprised to see that she's still there. Why is she still here? Has she been here all night?
With cups of tea.
They're asleep in the regular waiting room for some reason, and I reckon hospitals give you a parents' room for this sort of thing. David especially thinks it's all a bit weird. Meanwhile, Lily is looking for her homework, and she's instructed by Bethany to have a look in the cupboard next to the stairs, which she does. And in it, in plain sight once you open the door,
Right.
is Jodie's trinket box with all her weird stuff in it.
Yes.
And Lily has a little rake through it.
And she finds Bernie's head.
John Doe has the upper hand.
That's right.
That's right.
And she seems particularly taken by that. But then we get a lovely, maybe our best shot yet of the book.
Right.
It does look a lovely book.
Yes. Not a first edition, though, or even an early one from the 19th century.
Oh, let's not pick at that scab again. Seriously, Jodie, you might as well have just left this on the coffee table.
Right. Well, remember when she had it just stuck under the couch?
At least that's kind of hidden. This isn't a cupboard. You're supposed to look in cupboards. That's what cupboards are for. Does she not have a bed? Put it under your bed.
Yeah, where does she sleep in that house? The Gail's old room?
In the annex.
I mean, or is it Max's old room that she's sleeping in?
Probably in Max's old room.
I'm so happy that the show remembered that Max exists this week.
Back at the hospital, they're all walking to get something to eat when Jodie spies the woman from yesterday, and she immediately launches herself into the bogs, telling Shona that she's nipping off for a shite. When she's done, though, Shona and David are gone, and she bumps into the woman again anyway. But now she's able to say that Harper's operation went well, and she said a prayer for her daughter, and no one said being a mum was going to be easy, but Shona suddenly appeared, and she's heard all of this, and she wants to know why the fuck she's pretending to be Harper's mum. What? The lady quickly makes her excuses and leaves, and this allows Jodie, who is remarkably good at thinking on her feet, to concoct this story about the woman being a weirdo and had just assumed that Jodie was Harper's mum, and she couldn't be bothered disagreeing because the woman doesn't even have a kid in the hospital because she's that weird. Shona is shocked that someone could be such a fantasist and a pathological liar, and Jodie agrees, even though Shona is accurately describing her.
Yeah, and did it feel like to you like Shona was expressly talking about her to her face?
Yes.
And didn't buy that whole story of, it's just a strange woman walking around the hospital pretending to have a baby?
Oh, no, I thought she did buy it. But she's saying all this just because it becomes foreshadowing and loaded and stuff.
You think Shona really is that dumb?
Yes. I think Jodie was fairly convincing, though. That's the thing. Because she has an answer for everything really quickly. So Jodie is eventually sent home when Lily appears wanting to know why the fuck she's got Bernie's head and Brian's book in the box.
I love the way that Lily says Bernie's head. Not a picture of Bernie's head, but Bernie's head.
Jodie says it was just a joke about Bernie and she stole Brian's book to have Lily's back because no one else does, especially not Stinky Shona and David. She asks Lily to keep this to herself, but Lily doesn't look like she's buying all this.
No.
And says that she'll think about it. And she goes upstairs while Jodie quietly fumes. And that's how we end this week's episodes.
Yeah.
I expected more from this revelation.
Right, yeah.
But I also expect that it kind of feels like Jodie wanted to be caught just by leaving this box just
Where somebody would
lying
find it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. Give Brian back his book.
This might be Lily getting her way back into my good books, though.
Yeah.
Because I had had an absolute skinful of Lily in previous weeks.
If you're hearing weird noises in the background, that's Michigan rain.
Oh, and there's lightning right above us. It was a really bad day for Jodie, though, that she gets caught out with claiming
Right.
to be shown a thing. And that was something as well that she's just lucky that Shona didn't hear. She heard about being Harper's mum, but she didn't hear, I don't think, that...
The woman call her Shona. Or that David's her husband.
Right. Because that takes it, I think, to another level. Where even if you didn't want to disagree with someone because you thought they were crazy, you're probably setting the record straight a little bit when those sort of mistakes have been supposedly made. So I reckon she's been kind of lucky that she got off of that. But then that and then the Lily thing, it feels like it's starting to turn around for Lily.
Right. Maybe.
I finally heard a theory about Graham from Emmerdale, who was in the van and was
Kidnapping
either kidnapping Jodie or taking her prisoner somewhere or something of that nature. He hasn't expressly talked about it, but he said something along the lines of during Corriedale's he was helping the police. I don't know what that means.
No.
And that might not even be true.
And maybe helping the police, but not by directly helping the police. Maybe by getting rid of somebody who has done crimes without the police's knowledge.
On the down low.
Yeah.
I still think the trafficking thing is probably the top likelihood thing.
I don't, because Jodie's creepy as fuck. I feel like if Jodie was being trafficked, they'd be painting her.
Oh, no, I mean that she was maybe the trafficker.
Huh. That's weird.
Because the storyline that's going on in the Emmerdale is there's been another kind of grooming thing where you've got sort of modern slavery stuff happening. There's a ring that was going on with that, a couple of villains that I don't really know all that well, but maybe Jodie was part of that.
Huh.
It's been promised that it'll all come out, that the
Right.
connections will be made.
Right.
But do you know what,
Not
Helen?
until April.
We've been
Not until
promised
April.
things before.
That's true.
I don't know.
Remember when Ken was supposed to get a girlfriend? And then
Let it go.
Then she disappeared.
Let it go, Helen.
She disappeared.
I can live with that.
I can't,
Seemingly not.
because they made it this big deal in the press.
Well, the press made a big deal then.
Yeah, but who's feeding the press? That would be the show.
Is it me?
No, you don't feed the press. The press feeds you.
Yeah, so it feels like it's all starting to turn for her. Maybe you're right. Maybe Shona isn't quite believing it. Lily's certainly not believing it. And David just has a bad feeling about her.
Right. And
No
now,
matter what.
And now Adam hates her as well.
I just don't get... there's so much about her that I don't understand. Like, why she would just let this dog shit in the street.
And she doesn't care. And she seems to take joy in people stepping in it.
Yeah, she makes sure that David shits in a place where it is going to get stepped on.
Right. And doesn't clean it up.
So I don't know what makes her tick.
Well, she's clearly a sociopath. Maybe nothing makes her tick. Maybe she's
But that
just evil.
and the little trinket box and the carefully cutting out the head and the book and all the other bits and pieces that are in there.
Right.
What was there? Was a lighter, there was a flash drive. What's in the flash drive?
Right.
There was the locket.
Yes.
There was a wedding ring, I think.
Right. And the locket, at least, is that child who found her because she was in a field trip to Weatherfield for some reason.
She was visiting the Corrie set.
Is there like a train museum or something in the area?
There's probably lots of things to see in Manchester.
Sure.
There's canals and stuff.
Well, yeah.
Oh, well, that was a shortened week that was Coronation Street. Helen, tell me, what was your moment of the week?
Well, for me, the moment of the week is Carla and Connie sitting on the couch watching home shows and Carla slagging off Beige.
We did that last week.
No, we didn't.
It
Connie
was
wasn't.
Carla, but it was Carla with a baby last week.
No, that was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, that's too close.
That was Frankie, a.k.a. Ralphie.
This is so confusing.
Well, that is my own personal moment of the week. What do you say should be moment of the week? Think of something that's better than that. I dare you.
Shanice on the phone to Lou.
All right, I can get behind that.
It was so funny.
What's
And it
funny?
was so unexpected.
Right. Well, see, I would also argue that maybe it's Ed rolling the pram in and Carla saying, "Oh, no, not another one."
Let's give Shanice her first moment of the week.
Is it her first moment of the week?
It must be.
It feels like, no, because when they first introduced these kids, remember when Tim was being delightful with them? We gave that moment of the week. So this is technically her second moment of the week. This is her first solo moment of the week.
I'll have to check because as you spotted earlier, I have a spreadsheet that keeps track of all this.
You do.
But Shanice on the phone is Lou imitating Sally. It feels weird, but it is our
Moment of the week.
Moment of the week.
boring moment of the week.
Toya explaining where those sandwiches came from.
Oh, Jesus.
Boring moment of the week.
Oh, and her and Nick going on about the kind of olive oil that they used and how this is better the next day. And if you put this little Cuba with the aquafaba or whatever, and oh, it's a game changer, says Nick. Yeah, it's changed you into Daniel.
With more tears.
Yay!
On to our polls for this week. We asked the people on Twitter what they thought about this week's episodes, and this is what they said. Zzz, 31%. Meh, 31%. And yay, 37.9%. So,
Yeah.
a marginally good week, according to the good folks on Twitter.
Yeah. Nothing really offensive except, of course, Theo.
Chris says, particularly enjoyed Friday's episode. Never thought we'd actually see inside the charity shop, and it was good to see Evelyn back. And I'm like, what episode did Chris watch? This might be a whoosh moment. I was like, it wasn't, because it made me panic.
Uh-huh.
It's like, oh, fuck, was it on tonight?
Right.
Because I'd been basing my entire day about this
Right.
not being on tonight.
Yeah, it's not on tonight. Maybe
I
you
got
watched...
an extra 20 minutes in my bed. I actually had lunch.
Maybe... Because, like, I watched Thursdays today because I forgot that I didn't watch it yesterday.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't
is
on.
weird.
The rugby was on. We don't let those thoughts influence our scores, though, Helen. We'd be fools to do that.
Correct.
What is your score out of 10 this week?
I'm going to give it a 6.5.
6 for me.
Yeah, it
It was fine.
was a good week. You know, it would have been a 7, but Theo showed up.
I'm not going to give it a little bit more than a 6.
Now, stick to your guns.
My gut feel is a 6. There
Right.
was enough in it to make me think that I enjoyed myself this week.
Yeah.
But you're right, there was also enough cringy, and there was also enough just awful,
Yeah.
horrible villain stuff to get through.
Yeah.
And I tell you, that image of Debbie standing with her arms open while Carl just walks by her will stay with me for a very long
Punch
time.
him in the face every morning.
All right, let's wrap this one up then.
Yes,
This episode
please.
was brought to you with thanks to our friends of the podcast. Daisy, French Helen, Pickles, DT, Wendy, Noel, Canadian Helen, Christy, Shandy, English Victoria, Rory Vaughan, Heather Westerfield, Russell Whiting, Brittany Porter, Laurie Anna, Tina, Leah, Tara J, Fiona B, Canadian Jennifer, Josephine O'Singy, Anne Greenwood, Trish R, Sarah Purbrick, Ali Q, Hunker Munker, Darren, the artist formerly known as Seal My Fridge, Pamela, Marsh JT, Tom Ambrose, Christopher Anstey, Terry in LA, Joe T, Corey Dales, Matthew McKenny, Welsh Emma, Matthew S, Rachel B, Uranium Jennifer, Catherine Montiero, Gary Heatley, Pam but not that one, Una, Amy, Jenny Rowell, Ozzy Alley,
Oi, oi, oi.
Chris Horrocks, Cameron from Edmonton, Matt Birch, Library Jen, Jack the Marner, and David MacArthur. Whew. A lot of names there. 53 of them, I think I'd say.
Yeah.
Just at a rough guess. Thank you ever so much, folks. We
Thank
very
you
much
so
appreciate
much.
your support. If you've ever bought a platter of sandwiches to a hospital, write in to tell us about it. We're the talkofthestreet@gmail.com, and we're at Corrie Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads and Blue Sky, or you can reach us the old-fashioned way, the Talk of the Street, PO Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan, 48827. Our spoiler show will be available shortly after this one, and in this month's classics, we're talking about episode 4339. Get access to this exclusive content
Emily up a tree.
by becoming a friend of the podcast. Find all the links at corriepodcast.com, and be sure to check out our pop culture sister podcast, List of Lists.
I couldn't be bothered to talk about Scream 7 this week, so there's no podcast.
That's the first time we've missed it this year. I just realised. I never feel bad for not doing it. Thanks for making it to the end of another episode, and we will be back next week with more
Talk of the Street.
The Talk of the Street.
Bye.
Cheerio.